Hey, Apex Predator here with you, and today we are going to jump into Ad Astra. One of our first stops is going to be to the moon here, so I believe if we select the Earth, maybe we have to click it here, yep, then we can click moon, and we're going to have to remember to slow this lander down on our way down, or else we'll crash and burn, which would not be good. We are receiving a warning. That could be bad, I don't know. I want to say it's maybe warning us to slow down, but I already am, so let's see what happens. There we go, now we can easily see the surface and slowly descend down and control the braking, which is actually pretty easy. We have now landed safely on the moon. It's time to get to work. Shift right click, we can get our rocket back. Guess I really should be checking these samples here on the surface. Got some cheese here. And directly next to it, some Desh, one of the things we'll be looking for. And ice directly next to it as well. This should make our life relatively easy. Wow, what is that? Did we find the dungeon right off the bat? Kinda nervous to go in here. But why not? Let's just do it anyways. We'll just go and explore each one of these rooms and loot some of the things that we want to take back with us. What is this liquid? Oh, it's a fuel bucket. Okay, that's interesting. I think we might have our first interaction with a mob here. What is this thing? He looks way too similar to me. Oh, are you guys friendly? This is an underground village. Okay. Well, we're gonna rob them anyways, because I really like some of the resources they have. And I think I am gonna make a trade with this guy here to get the Ad Astra wrench. It looks kinda cool to me. But Lord, some of these rooms are really straight packed with them. Okay, out of here we go. Now there was another little tower thing that I noticed that I wanted to check out right over here. Looks like it has friendlies inside, so nothing to be concerned about. Though I'm kinda unclear how they get to the upper levels. Oh, it's a kinda hidden staircase right here, okay. Oh wow, a massive little chest room here at the top. This is kinda nice. Get our cheese quest completed. And I think we're just going to go ahead and start digging straight down right here in order to get to our first Desh sample. And there she is right here. I think mixed in with some ice too. Oh nice, we're going to get all three at one time. This is kind of lucky. And now we'll just come up to the surface and maybe get a little bit more ice shards before we go back home to go to Mars. Now I believe to fill up our oxygen tanks in our suit, all we have to do is right click the tank that we're holding. And yes, it deposits it right into our suit, which is wonderful. Makes that pretty easy. What is this thing here? Corrupted Lunarian. Interesting. Let's take this one out too. And I think with that, we're just going to go ahead and send it home. Can shift right click to get into our rocket since we don't have the fuel loader with us. And manually toss in some buckets here. We only need 12 to get home, so let's just grab one more. Throw that in. Make sure we don't forget our fuel tank here. And send it on back to Earth. And we can just watch our Y level here, and once we approach the ground, we can start to slow down. Luckily, the brakes work pretty easily. Shift right click to get our rocket back, and because I don't want landers everywhere, I'm destroying that. Put our rocket back down here, let the fuel load up, and we'll see everything start to back up as well. Once that tank is full, and once our rocket here is full, which it is, Now the chemical reactors are just going to back up their little storage buffer and we'll be ready to go to Mars. So to start crafting some of the goodies that I want, I've got 23 ingots going into plates here. We'll go ahead and grab 2 wheels. We're also going to grab 2 engine frames and 2 engine fans. That way we can make 2 Desh engines, one of which will be used inside of our rover recipe as long as I get close enough to our terminal, the rover. And now we just need to work on the other rocket parts. And since these don't have any modern industrialization recipes, we can make use of our old school smelter here to get a lot of Desh ingots very quickly. One of my favorite creations. We'll refill our 2 canisters that we used, come down below, and craft our tier 2 rocket. Ready for Mars. Though the only thing I did not consider was that we need the tier 2 rocket placed here. Significantly bigger rocket, and it is already getting filled with fuel. Already full of fuel. Place this rover down, that way it gets filled with fuel due to the fuel loader, and shift left click it to pick it up. And I think we're all ready to go to Mars. The real question is, are you? Grab us a few night vision potions, that way we can see a little bit better if it's night on Mars when we arrive. And we'll even throw a redstone on to extend the duration of each of these. And it is once again time to blast off. Here goes nothing. Watch our Y level under the mini-map. And I have no idea what the max height of this world is, so I'm going to start slowing us down here pretty soon. Yes, it is definitely way higher. But we have arrived safely. Now we are on the hunt for some Ostrum, which I think is really one of the only things that appears on this world. So let's go ahead and dig down and see what we can come up with. Deep caves, though we have not found any Ostrum yet, so we're going to keep digging down a little bit more. We're starting to get pretty deep here. I really hope we strike across it sooner rather than later. I guess I could use the scanner if I really must. Okay, what are you? Martian raptors trying to bite our heads off. Or our head, that is. That was rather interesting, but it does appear we have found some Mars Ostrum ore, as well as whatever this is, Mars ice shard, and a bunch of lava over here, which is pretty neat, as I would expect from Mars. Make our night vision, and wow, we can magically see so much easier. That was a weird glitch due to the server backup. I think I might want to try to take one of these guys home, to be honest. They're kind of cool looking. Can I capture you? No? What about with a diamond lasso instead? Yes, we can. Wow, this looks kind of crazy over here. Tons of Ostrum and ice shards as well. It's gonna take me a long time to get back to the surface, I have a feeling. And I think we have enough Ostrum to go ahead and return back home. Place our tank down, grab some buckets here, shift right click the rocket to add our fuel, and away we go. Night vision wearing off makes this really scary. Now with a new spacesuit, a new backpack, and a new rocket, it is time for us to head to Venus. Can't forget about an extra launch pad, and off we go. Venus, here we come. Quest completed, and now we just need a safe re-entry. Again, I don't know where the cap of this world stands, so we're going to take it nice and easy and slowly descend our way into Venus. Passing through the clouds, and we can see the surface. Grab our rocket, put down our launch pad, and we'll go ahead and fuel it up for good measure. And let's just see what sample we landed on. A gold sample. Not exactly what we're looking for. Coal sample, that could be beneficial in the future. And our first Calorite samples. Ladies and gentlemen, our first Calorite. Now I think we're going to need quite a bit of this stuff, so let me gather up a bunch and return to Earth, and I'll show you what we're up to. Stare into my beautiful eyes. May I tell you, I had no idea what type of rabbit hole we were getting into when we got back. So if you check out this new room, this is going to be our predominantly EV room. I've started setting up some various machines here, including this EBF that is used for platinum. Gets sent into the vacuum freezer over here. And then this middle area is going to be used for our implosion compressor for creating tungsten. As we can see, we're going to need to use the tiny dust, some stainless steel nuggets, and ITNT. But we've got quite a few other steps in between there, if I'm being honest. We come over here and take a peek at the implosion compressor quests. We can see that the control block itself is going to require 16 blast-proof alloy large plates. And to get this blast-proof alloy, one of the only ways is to grab it through the implosion compressor. However, this kinda does glitch out for some reason. I say glitch out, but not really. You have to do this first recipe here before you can even unlock the implosion compressor. So it's going to require 2 of these blast-proof ingots, which the only way we can get right now is through these tungsten nuggets. Now, tungsten nuggets, at the time being, are being compressed through a regular compressor, but it takes 120 seconds. Therefore, I have 3 MV compressors set up over here. Each of them has a stack of tungsten tiny dust inside, and they're all being exported into this barrel that is isolated from the rest of our system. Though I didn't do that to begin with, and if you take a look at the screenshot here, yeah, that took me a while to sort through and get everything stored back into its proper drawers. That sucked. So while we wait on that tungsten, we're going to go ahead and get started on this pressurizer here, which is going to eventually lead us to getting some argon and nitrogen. So if I come over here to our new titanium wall, I can just go ahead and pull out some of these solid titanium casings, as well as the pipe casings that we're going to need for the pressurizer. And there's our quest completed. I'm just going to finish grabbing the hatches and then we can set everything up. Press W to ponder so we can see a little bit of exactly how this works. And the final 4 casings. That should have completed the shape. I don't know what I might have done wrong here. Well, for one, we left out the item input hatch, which will be a crucial ingredient to the machine. We also are missing, okay, the output hatch, or I guess the fluid input hatch seems to be the issue here. Still doesn't, oh, that's an output hatch. No wonder I'm having issues. So maybe we can leave it in the middle? Yes, nice. Now all we need is this air intake hatch, which seems like it's a relatively simple enough recipe. Our first air intake hatch should be a quest, yep. And now if we install this in here, we should start to see some liquid air. That has a horrible sound. And we'll just take this liquid air and pipe it on over to a centrifuge over here. And attach that to the power cable directly next to it. We should start to see all 3 different byproducts come in: oxygen, nitrogen, and argon. And next up on our list is going to be the monocrystalline bulls. I think that's how you pronounce that. We'll switch our shape over to a Canthal EBF. Go ahead and set our input hatch. Our output hatch is set as well. Now we just need to import argon into the fluid hatch, and we should start to see some monocrystalline boules, silicon boules. And now with the iridium being extracted, we should indeed see the blast furnace running and the quest completed. Monocrystalline silicon. Now, in order to keep progressing a little bit further, we are going to need to set up a few different plastics over here. The first one we're going to work on is polyvinyl chloride, and I've already got the two chemical reactors set up here for vinyl chloride and polyvinyl chloride, and we just need to attach some power and see if we can get this up and running. You can hear the first one start up almost immediately, and I'm just now realizing we are going to have a slight issue here, where we have 3 different pipes going into here. We need to utilize that space, so we're just going to angle one of these downward. That'll continuously power him, which means we can put a 3rd pipe now on the back of here to extract vinyl chloride and send it on over. Now this one we should just be able to drop a power cable down from below, and it'll start making polyvinyl chloride, which will deposit directly into here. Though I'm starting to think I might want an ender tank there instead. Now on to our next setup here. This one is going to be for styrene butadiene rubber. First we have to start out with the styrene part of the process, which is going to require ethyl benzene, steam, and iron dust. So we'll just come down into our tank farm over here and figure out just exactly which tank has the ethyl benzene in it. Set up an ender tank for it. And with just a little bit of spaghetti, we have both rubbers now being made. Got the polyvinyl chloride being made right here in the top ender tank, and styrene butadiene rubber in the bottom one. Now we just gotta come in and collect all of our quests, and we'll be good to go. Ladies and gentlemen, our final mixed blast-proof ingot, the stupid way. This here has taken me utter hours to do, just because of how long it takes to make a single tungsten ingot from these stupid little nuggets here. Even when overclocked, it takes absolutely way too long. This has to be changed. Now we can just take these plates right on over to our crafting table, assemble our last 2 blast-proof casings, which should complete the quest. Alright, I'm missing the actual control block itself. No problem. There's the quests. The automated creeper. Now we can just come down our little tunnel into the EV room and finish setting up the multi-block. Shape is valid, status is active. Time to configure the slots. Now the only thing we should have left to do is activate our unpacker for the tungsten tiny dust and set one up for stainless steel nuggets. So we'll swap this item pipe over and head downstairs. We should hear the implosion compressor start to fire up. God knows how loud this is really going to be, but there's one way to find out. Matter of fact, let's just do this manually for now. Oh my god, that's so fast too. That is such a major difference from the way we were just doing tungsten, oh my god. Now, I did decide to play around a little bit here with this setup for industrial TNT, and I needed a good source of flint without just using macerators, and I noticed that here in the midnight dipping you can actually just throw gravel into the midnight solution and get some flint. So what I've done here is set up a little dropper system that's on a timer, and I have a lever here which activates the extractor side of the Modern Dynamics pipe, and we'll start to extract the gravel from this macerator and send it right over into the dropper. And once the dropper receives the items, the timer activates it, throws it in, and there is a hopper underneath of it that collects the flint and then in turn pipes it up into this mixer up top. Now you can't really tell right now because it's pretty much full here in the mixer, but as you can see, it is filling up from the buffer of the hopper itself. Now, one more thing that I do want to get crafted, since we now have all of the access to it, is this grabby chest plate here. We just need to grab the jet suit itself and throw it in the crafting grid, and now we have creative flight. And I set up a little turbo diesel generator here with an HV storage unit that I think we should just be able to right click and charge this up. And up in the top left corner, if you can see, the default keybind is X, which will enable and disable the jetpack, and then just the usual double tap to fly around. This is going to come in great handy moving forward. So all I need to do now is finish setting up this system here for EV circuits, and we can go and do a little adventure before we finish this episode. Put an item pipe here on the start of the line to an in and out blacklist. Should start this machine up here in a moment, unless we don't have any digital circuit boards. Oh, it appears we've finally run out of rubber. Should be a relatively simple fix. And with our rubber situation taken care of, we can see we now have processing unit boards as well as processing units themselves. What a wonderful accomplishment, Apex. I'm always so satisfied with how good everything looks too. It's definitely a plus. So, back here at the base, I've got our first highly advanced machine hull that I've started crafting here. Should unlock a quest for us, pretty much the very end of the Digital Age chapter, which does indeed unlock the Nuclear Age. Now this here, the nuclear reactor, is one of the next things we're going to be working towards, as we're having some slight issues here with keeping steam in our tank. So for the time being, I've started working on a little mini project here. We just need a couple different transformers here. And what I plan to do is install this EV storage unit and transformers right here, and I'll show you exactly why I'm going to do that in just a moment. Now, I think all I need to do is make a couple more of those solar panels. I'm actually going to have to hold off on making the other two, and I'll explain that in just a moment. But we'll just start placing those extra solar panels down right up here on the surface. And I have an annealed copper cable that runs all the way down straight into our EV storage unit. And we'll come down here and monitor our storage levels as they charge up throughout the day. What I'm hoping is that I get a large enough buffer here that it can run all the way through the night without me having to sleep. But having this setup here solar powered should mean that we produce carbon dust for our boilers pretty much for free, instead of hogging all the steam that we're trying to generate with the carbon. And our other problem, you might be wondering? We have no aluminum. I'm gonna have to fix this immediately. However, that is going to be a job for in between the two episodes. I'd like to thank you guys for watching and really hope you enjoyed this one. We are now fully and officially in the nuclear age, so we are progressing right on through this mod pack here. Anyways, me and Mashlak there inside, the Martian Raptor, wish you well, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye now.